Okay. So for someone that is possibly still going through contracting and just getting started, one of the best places to go, well, really the best place to go is you'll get access by Benjamin or our team here at LCFG on going through the new hire. And obviously you're going to see it maybe a little differently than I do because I can edit these things. But essentially, when you're in the school, you click on the classroom, you're going to have some different courses. You may not see all of these modules, which is okay. But I would start with LCFG New Hire Training. Once you're in here, there's like a little 4-minute introductory video. It's good to check off what you've done or not done along the way so you can kind of keep track of where you're at. And then basically, if there's anything that you have feedback on, I would love to hear like, hey, I kind of had a question about this. I haven't finished the training, but I do have a question. And then, maybe that's covered, maybe it's not. It's not perfect. I don't know of a single perfect system in the world, but it's a workable system and it works well. And obviously, there's already so much information you've probably had to take in that it can sometimes be like drinking water from a fire hydrant instead of just a glass of water or even a water hose like when we were kids. So just try to do the best you can to take in what you can, and obviously repeating the information as much as possible. So for my guys here also, like I try to put it on YouTube as well, so you can like listen to it anywhere. It probably a little easier, or you can just use the Google links. So for example, I believe there would be a YouTube channel here. Yep, here it is. So on the school, you can click on this channel. Now I'm going to share a playlist with you that I'm selecting for 2025. This is the updated kind of like we're getting into it. And I'm going to select this
How do you get to
playlist
the channel,
to
Griffin?
share. The channel is gotten to through the homepage on school. There's 3 links on the right. And when you're on those links,
Oh, I do see them.
I will. Mhm. And so basically, I've got a series of videos here, but right now, so far I've got about 35 on this list. Let me back up. Maybe not that many, but yeah, it's got 35. It says, and there's some short ones in here. I try to make them short as I can, but let me get that link for you and basically just share it with you so you can get into the playlists, and it's view the full playlist. Here it is. I can take this link. I'm actually going to go on school. I'm going to go ahead and edit it if I can, because I have admin access. So I will go to, I may not be able to. I'll see about Ben seeing if he can change it. But essentially just I'm giving him more fresh because I got about 300 videos on my YouTube channel for the one that's on there currently. Here we go. So I'm gonna change it out. And here we go. Paste. I'm actually going to make it where everyone can see it. Okay, good. So that might fix it as well. So I just changed it. And then additionally, I'm going to post it here in the chat for you right now. And it just went into the chat if you want to copy and paste it. And then you could save that. And I will constantly be posting and updating the videos on my YouTube channel, which isn't to replace anything else. It's just kind of additional content. Like instead of having to randomly search for great data, I've spent years of my life listening to hundreds, thousands of hours of content. And not only have I found what works, but I've looked really hard for the right answers. And I've done this job long enough to at least know in this area who's really good and they genuinely know what they're doing. And I don't want to give you somebody who talks a big game on YouTube and they rented a Lamborghini because they could afford the rent or the lease on a Lamborghini, and they don't really have anything behind that, So I know who the real people are in our space, and it's not all about me. It's about what's going to help the agent. So I try to put you in front of the best in the business, and I'm going to be selecting those things so you don't have to go searching, but you'll have a plethora, a large amount of content that is just there to go through, and you're not going to have to go Googling and randomly searching. Now, of course, you can always find the answer somehow. And, medications and stuff like that, definitely Google, like metformin, what's it for? Like you could put metformin 4 on Google, FOR. That way you see like, what's this for? And it'll tell you metformin's for type 2 diabetes. It's a medication taken in pill form, typically for type 2 diabetics, people that develop diabetes later in their life somehow, due to probably diet and exercise. But, it's technically a disease, right? So people get it. And then in underwriting, you just want to know complications. Like, oh man, is there any like tingling in your hands or feet from that? And that's just one of the number one things that sneaks up and gets people. So there's little things like that. You don't got to know them all right now. When I first started, it was very overwhelming. And I felt like, oh my goodness, am I ever going to be able to figure this out or get this down? But if you commit to one thing and get really great at it, it's worth it. Because if you quit one thing today, you got to start something new tomorrow. And I'll take any questions that you have.
I don't think I have any. You pretty much explained pretty well.
Oh, good. Sorry about earlier at lunchtime. I know you've probably been on a couple calls, wanted a couple things to happen. They didn't maybe go the way we planned them to, or that you would have liked them to go possibly. But I think sometimes calls are for certain things, and we try to separate them out a little bit, and then also
Yeah,
make
no,
it
it was all good. I understood. But I was like, oh,
okay.
I don't have any questions for Ryan. So
Okay, cool. There was some good
yeah.
stuff dropped in there. Definitely worth listening if you can.
Okay.
I kind of replaced music a little bit with training, and then of course I like to listen to some music, particularly music without words, just because these days a lot of music is really negative and nasty, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I try to listen to something that's gonna I replace the negativity we experience in this world with good things, and I'm constantly consuming something that can help me, even though it may not always pump me up or whatever. It actually gets the result, regardless of how I feel, right? But if you get production being something that's accomplished, something that can be exchanged. For example, they give a monthly payment, they get a life insurance policy that gives them peace of mind, knowing they walk out the door, get hit by a drunk driver, heaven forbid, their family is protected from a financial burden, at least to some degree. That is the problem that we solve, right? That is what we do. No worries.
I got kicked off. Sorry.
All good. We basically just provide peace of mind to the client, and that's what we exchange. That could be called a product. When you're getting products, when you're working and getting results, you will have a higher morale. Now, a big thing in this world is people want to be happy. Everyone's always talking about happy and pursuit of happiness. It's even in our founding fathers talked about pursuit of happiness, right? But it's concerned with your morale is actually concerned with, if we look at the definition, confidence, enthusiasm, and discipline of a person at a particular time. So people, when their morale is high, they feel good. They feel productive. They're getting things done. Ironically, you're going to see this word used a lot back before 1950. In the end of it really spiked in the early 1900s. It went up through, and I can see it on Google. I'm looking at it right now. And it right before, in the 30s, into the 30s, into the 40s, it really freaking hiked up high. It went up. You can, and Google can see like, oh, dictionaries, books, where was this word used the most? It was before 1950, and it's declined over time. And I think that kind of shows society a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting, right? So the way to get, if you want to feel better, if you want to be in a better mood, get productive, get things done. The biggest commitment that people break is to themselves. That's number one. If If you can't honor the commitments you make to yourself, how can you honor the commitments that you're going to make with others, to the client? Look, we're not perfect. Just because you said you were going to do something and then didn't do it doesn't mean you need to lay down and die, or, oh, I'm a failure now, right? Obviously, you're going to keep going. You're not going to quit and give up. However, what I will say is that, look, it happened. Okay. Don't do it again. Do better next time. Like, I have someone that tells me every day they're going to be on, here at 9 or whatever, and they don't do it. I need to have a talk with that person and say, look, man, it's not about, you're making these commitments. I'm not telling you when to be here. If you're going to do what you're saying you're doing, you need to do it. Otherwise, how are you going to feel? Because you never do what you say you're going to do. You can't even hold yourself to your own standard. How are you going to do anything else correct off of that? Because that's your foundation.
Right. Your accountability.
Yes. So a challenge that I have for you and anyone listening is, like, when you get up in the morning, do you hit the snooze every single morning? Or do you get up when that thing goes off? Or is it just a part of your routine where, okay, I'm going to set it for 6:25, I'm going to snooze for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to get up at 6:30. If that's what you're doing, then do it. If that's what you've said you're going to do. Before you go to bed, write your goals and targets down. You can do it on a legal pad. You can do it on your iPhone, whatever. And then look at those goals or write those goals again. I like to put a pen on paper, and you can write them down. Tell myself, okay, I need to get my body up at 6:30. Sometimes I'll wake up without an alarm because I made that. I'm like, I got to get up by 6:30. So then that's what I do. Now, you need to adjust based on what's going to work for you. I don't believe in sacrificing sleep to be successful. I think you should get at least 6 hours. If you can get 7 to 8, that would be great. I think you'll get more out of your day. Also, one thing that I've had to fight, and this is me being completely honest with you, I'm 33, and it's been about 10 years since I, had my little stint in college where about 11 years. And I basically we did some things I'm not proud of. I smoked weed every day. I went out and did, drugs with my friends in college. And those are not things I'm proud of, but I'm being, open there because we all probably have something in our past that we want to, move past, or we did that we don't want to do anymore because we know it's not going to ultimately help us. But what I would tell you is that even though I quit doing all the crazy stuff, that didn't mean I completely stopped drinking alcohol. So recently for me, every now and then, you have some wine at the house, with your spouse or significant other or friends, and then you maybe have beers or whatever, but whatever it is. However, you may not feel terrible the next day because you didn't overdo it. However, what a lot of people don't realize, sleep, alcohol, poor nutrition, lack of hydration, these little things, not getting sunlight, not getting a little exercise, doesn't have to be crazy, 20, 30 minutes. Even if you just did that, it would be better than nothing. Even if you walked a mile or two, better than nothing. Even if you do 25 push-ups, girl push-ups, boy push-ups, whatever. It will contribute to your morale because you're making a commitment, following your commitment, getting those things done, helping your body be in the condition it needs to be in. That will make it easier to deal with others, yourself, those thoughts and negativity that can come in. Those other factors are difficult enough as it is. The doubt, the uncertainty are hard enough. Let's not make it harder on ourselves by having those other things not handled. Not brushing this is silly, but not taking a shower once or twice a day, not brushing your teeth once or twice a day. You know what I mean? Like, at least every day we're going to do those things. We need to make those other things I mentioned before a habit as well. A little sunlight. Dr. Eric Berg on YouTube, you can look him up. He's got over 12 million followers. He is a natural guy. He doesn't believe in taking drugs if you can avoid it, right? He doesn't believe in, he wants, there's these basic deficiencies that human beings have that will solve most of our problems. In an American-based food diet, we don't get most of what we need. All those little things will help you lay the foundation to be and achieve everything you want to achieve. The knowledge is available here, but are those other things like showing up, commitment, all those things I've mentioned, are they in prior to these other things that you're now trying to accomplish with this? If I can help people handle all those things, one of the biggest last things I'll mention, okay? I know I've went on a long rant here, but I hope that it's helpful and useful for you.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I want to mention here is when you get sick, I want you to consider, why am I getting sick? Okay. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but for me personally, anytime I've ever gotten sick, it could have been a small thing, could have been a big thing, but usually there was somebody in my life that I was attached to, or was maybe reminding me even of someone else, where it caused me to lose something for myself. Like maybe I feel bad or negative, or you know, maybe it's someone not supporting your goals and your dreams and your vision. They're negative. It could be a family member. They make these little sideways undertoned comments to you, and you're like, what do they mean? And then they act like nothing's wrong. Or I've had people think that I was doing that, and I said, hey, what's going on? And they're like, well, it seemed like you were doing this and that. Oh no, I want to be very clear about where I stand. And I cleared it up. I cleared up the situation. So it can happen, whether it be through an action, a phrase, a word, where you're like, what did they mean by that? And you're like, it's in the back of your mind, like, what is this? And then they can play it off like, oh no, nothing. It's nothing. They make comments like, everybody knows that everybody knows this. Those types of people, they're the vampire. They're the vampire personality. They sap life from you because they're incapable of creating it themselves. So they feed off of you and your energy. So the more life you give to it. Now, there is a way to handle those things. I recommend trying to deal with it directly in a nice way, not attack them back because they attacked us. And now we have this vicious cycle. Hence, wars in America. I can go into that whole topic there, like Americans fighting in wars. We only create more war. We only create more terrorism. And I was in the military for 5 years. So was my brother. So was my grandfather. So was his brother. So my aunt. Yeah. So I come from military coaches, teachers, and sports athletes, educators, and war begets war. So the same thing on a smaller scale with people. Doing something wrong to somebody else, the whole two wrongs don't make a right, is true. Because even if they do something bad, if you're able to hold your own and be who you are and not fight back in a negative way, you can fight back in the right way. But if you fight back, like they scratched my car, so I'm going to scratch their car, it's not going to help you. It's only going to hurt you. And if you bring yourself down to that level, those little tiny things, I think, are the only real things that I truly took away from my mom, but were later able to be applied, because not everything our parents say is 100% correct all the time, right? But at least that was, and I've observed it. So that's really the main thing. If you protect yourself, your energy, and the people you have around you, and you treat your body right, I know that's all basics. You're not here in PE or school. I'm not your dad or mom lecturing you. I just see these things all the time on a daily basis for years. And if we can handle those basics, then my job to help you with, I'm not interested in life insurance. I want burial insurance. Well, that's what we do. We do both of them. So if you want burial insurance, I'm here to help. Like, I know exactly what to say, exactly what to do. All that stuff's so much easier to help the agent with when they can do all the other things that I just mentioned. So sorry for the long rant. Any other questions or things I could cover? And I'll keep it shorter and I won't go on the long rant.
Um, I was looking for something in the classroom that I couldn't find, but I can't remember what it was now.
No
Hold on.
problem. I'm sorry. Anytime I'm
Oh, you're
talking,
fine.
feel free to throw something in the chat or write it down, and then you can always email it to me. My inbox, I only have 40 emails in there currently, and I was kind of going through checking them off, and I get hundreds of emails. I probably get 100, 200 emails a day. And so, because I deal with everyone, I get everyone's emails, but
Right.
yeah, but a lot of even for my own clients as well as for agents. So, emailing me is a great way to hey, this is not super urgent, but let me just get them an email. I type 80 words a minute, so I love to respond with that. I don't like long stuff through text, but if it's hey, need help, that would be a great thing to just dial me, and then I'll try to answer if I can. I'm good enough where I could be on a sales call and I could pause the sales. Hey, Miss Jones. Oh, hold on, Miss Jones. I got a call coming in. It's super important. Can you hold on for a second? I answer your call. Hey, I'm on a call with her. She's about to buy, and then we kind of work together in the best way we can. That way. But calling, texting. I had a girl today. She was in the Slack. She said, "Hey, need help?" And I saw it, and I was like, "Okay, I'm here." She was in Zoom. She shared her screen and sound. I was able to see what was going on and help her fix it.
That was pretty cool.
Did you think of your question?
No, I didn't, but
It's okay. Look, if you think of it, just text.
email you.
Email me is really my favorite. I mean, because you will get it answered. If it's urgent, we can take the other steps. If it's not urgent, email is really just great.
I have a question that's kind of off topic, if I can, or maybe
Yeah.
not off topic. What is the 7:30 meeting? I've never heard that until today.
Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I do a little boot camp. It's been extra credit type of sales. Let's get into it. Let's really dive in on sales, underwriting, problems. 8:30 was a bit more general. It can be like the 7:30, but 8:30 was more hey, welcome to this call. We're going to go over some sales training, some Grant Cardone, some different tips and strategies. And then I also sent you an email. Did you by chance see the email I sent you that had an answer to some of your questions?
No, I didn't see that yet.
Go take a quick peek at it.
Yeah.
You asked 3 questions. I answered them all, and then I provided the links to the questions that you asked.
Let me see. Oh, probably nope. That's the invitation. One-on-one. What is it titled?
Oh, let me see. Did it get sent? Let's look. Let me go check in my drafts.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did send an email. Let me just double check. Your email would be
Engelkes.
all right. So I remember me to LC and Courtney. I see here's the Zoom link. Oh, it would be under Ryan Lodi's Q&A live.
Okay, right here.
I'll re-forward it to you, Courtney. Resurfacing. Now, any email you complete, you can archive it or save it in a particular place. That will help. That will help you.
Me keep them organized, huh?
Yeah, that way, if you ever want to find something or go look it up, your email box will become more like a very specific Google in a way. And it's got all your answers hiding up in there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I just got the email. Oh, yeah. I responded to that one. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, awesome. And then I hope that's helpful. I hope that answered what you were asking, from earlier.
Yeah. I just didn't know. I know while I'm waiting to get contracted, I just didn't know what I could be doing in the meantime to get ahead. I want to be a part of the team. So Put me in,
Yeah.
coach.
And I want you to be a part of the team, and I think you'd be a great part of the team. And it's super cool that you're here, willing, ready, and able. Have a
Oh
great
yeah.
attitude. You're very direct. I like that.
Yeah,
You
my
have
mom says I'm mean. I'm like, no, I'm blunt. There's a difference.
we
Oh,
come across as a sharp object sometimes. That's how I do. I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I know I am. So
That's funny. Well, that's all the questions I have for you, Griffin. Thank you.
you're very welcome. Benjamin and I are here as a resource as well, and we will stay tuned and stay in touch. Okay.
All right, perfect. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Okay. Bye bye.